In this video, we're going to be covering the top 5 tips on how to write a living neighborhood in your book. Now, I consider a neighborhood like the starting place of your character in like the first chapter of your book. Like it's like their hometown. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. So usually, you probably already know this, but tip 1 is to start with a detailed description. A vivid and immersive neighborhood comes to life through descriptive writing. Use all 5 senses to paint a picture for your readers. Describe the sights, sounds, smells, and even the textures that make up this world. You should you should be able to allow your readers to step into the neighborhood and experience it along with your characters. Now, you have to be careful here. You don't want to over describe. So say there's a bakery on the corner. You could, talk about the bakery, the person who owns it, what the town's favorite baked good is from there. But if your characters are never really going to go inside of it, or if it's never really important to the story, you don't really have to further describe it past that. Really, for a living neighborhood, it's all about just showing that there's like life to it, that there's like stuff going on, that there's businesses popping up, that there's people doing different events, that it's like a real life that your characters are in. That brings us to tip 2, which is crafting unique characters. You want to populate your neighborhood with unique characters. It's not just about a physical environment, it's also about the people who live there. Introduce a diverse cast of characters, each with their own personalities, quirks, and stories. These characters should interact with your protagonist in ways that reveal the essence of the neighborhood. So say you want to create like this like super happy town. These neighbors or these like people in your neighborhood should all be friendly, they should all be warm towards your character. As your character is running by a shop, the storekeeper should be like, "Oh, hey David," or whatever their name is, just to show that like in this town everybody knows everybody. You have to create life to wherever your character goes. Or say if it's like a really like beaten up neighborhood, the place where the Scrooge would love it there. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the people wouldn't talk to each other at all. Maybe it's really just fish shops instead of like delicious warm bakeries. And people might always be threatening each other to egg the other's house, right? So yeah, it's really just all about crafting unique characters to add life and like warmth or chill to this like starting world. The neighborhood or like your starting town is almost like the first level of your character's development. Now this brings us to tip number 3, which is cultural and historical context. Each neighborhood has a rich history and cultural background. Explore the past of your neighborhood to uncover its secrets, legends, and traditions. This context not only adds depth, but also informs your character's motivations and actions within the neighborhood. Now, you don't have to go overboard with this, especially say if your character is not planning on staying wherever they are right now. But I think it is important to say something about maybe how the town was founded, or like, their bicentennial anniversary is coming up, or like the Harvest Festival is 1 week away, implying that the town's like a farm community. It all depends on really what you want to go for. But say if like your characters are going to stay in this neighborhood for the entire book, then I would definitely like dive into some of the secrets, some of the legends of the town. Maybe 50 years ago, there's like ghost sightings. That would be an interesting addition to the context of your world, to the context of the town. So just keep that in mind. Historical and cultural context is a great way to add depth and like life to your neighborhood. Tip 4 is conflict and tension. Now, I do talk a lot about conflict and tension just because they're so important, even for like your first chapter. Like I was saying in tip 2 about unique characters, there's going to be some characters who just want to egg the other person's house, right? That's a conflict. It adds some interesting aspects to your town. Or maybe there's the election of the new mayor coming soon. It might be a super close battle between these two like bakers who own like 2 bakeries on like the opposite ends of town, and they like really hate each other, right? That's another form of like conflict. And what's nice about these conflicts is that they also allow you to develop culture and historical context, because you can talk about how they got started and why they got started. They also allow you to create unique characters because of the conflicts, and it allows your characters to talk about these conflicts too, creating like this living and like real time world that your characters are in. I think that we've all experienced the book where it seems like time always stops when your character's like doing something. Say like they're going to this abandoned mine, but first they have to like go through town. There's like never any waves, there's never any, like stopping to talk to neighbors. Which, rightfully so, it does slow down the narrative. but there's like not even a sign of life. It's like immediately somehow everybody just disappears, except for the characters going on their mission. So just be mindful of that. You want to create a living and breathing town with people roaming around doing their different day to day activities. Now, tip 5 is about creating an evolving landscape. Now, I get what you're thinking. If your character is not going to be here for even chapter 2, what's the point in creating like this changing landscape in your town? Well, again, it goes back to creating a living world. Now, a living world is also a changing world. This means that the people in this town should have their own goals. They should have stuff going on for them. So, say at the beginning of your story, you could talk about how there's going to be this new coffee shop opening up in like a month, but your character won't be there to see it. But maybe if they come back to the town at the very end of the story, they'll see the coffee shop opening. Maybe that's like the final scene. They're just in the coffee shop talking about their adventures. This is a way to add even more life to the story, to show that not only do the characters go about their day-to-day lives, they have like a routine and such, but there's also changing factors. They have their own goals. They have their own like passions and desires that they want to further. This could be in the form of a coffee shop, a Christmas tree farm. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't even have to be that. It could be the character's aunt has a new baby, right? All these different things are evolving. They're evolving the landscape, they're evolving the town itself. So just keep that in mind. All right, that's it for the top 5 tips on crafting a living neighborhood. If you want to have a free coaching session with me, you can book a call down below. We can cover how to start your first chapter. Like I'll actually like walk you through like writing your first sentences just to get you going. There's no pressure involved. It's like a totally go at your own pace sort of coaching lesson. Or we can cover like even if you're in the middle of your story, you're kind of running out of ideas, or maybe you just need help with creativity or imagination, like truly getting the best version of your story possible. Then feel free to just click the link below, select the time you want, and we'll get you on your writing journey in no time. This has been a good video. If you liked it, like and subscribe. Hit the bell if you please, and I'll see you in the next one. Or I might see you in the call. It's totally free, 30 minutes to an hour. We'll cover either your first chapter or just like creating like a better world for your story. Until next time.